How's it, everybody? I am doing my video analysis presentation on a film I found on YouTube called A Place Like This. It's about a man, Alex Jenkins, and actually, the description of it said a man in his garden. So that intrigued me to watch it because I've been gardening a lot more lately during this pandemic. So I found it very interesting, and I decided to do the report on it. The film is based on Alex Jenkins, who was a professor at New South Wales, University of New South Wales in Australia. And what makes him so intriguing was his time being in the military as a World War II pilot. So the story in this film talks about how his plane basically got destroyed and his crewmates all got swept out of the plane, and how he was a lone survivor based on the fact that he was a pilot. His seat had a parachute, and he got to survive, narrowly missing a church, and I think trees helped break his fall. So it's almost like straight out of a movie. Crazy enough, he went right back out again after he recovered, and he got a new crew, and he went back to fight. That's amazing. But yeah, so that's Alex Jenkins in a nutshell. Very interesting man. Um, the director of the film is David May, and he is I don't know if he's renowned or anything, but he has some accolades. He is a cinematographer, a director specializing in documentaries and factual television, and he also works on commercials, music, comedy, and other ranges of social and branded content. And he's won awards called like the Golden Tripod. They're Australian Cinematography Society Awards and Young Walkley Award for video journalism. Um, so he has some talent, I guess, in his directing field. Um, so watching it and liking his film makes sense because he's experienced and he knew what he was doing. So other things, the rest of the crew that they listed on, or I found the information on IMDb.com, and the rest of the film crew didn't have much more information on them. So, other than like this is like their first film, maybe, or maybe they're just undocumented in other films. But but yeah, okay. So going back to let's see, the narrative of the story was great. The Alex Jenkins, he seemed like a really good guy. Um, he had this kind of voice and accent that made it more captivating to listen to.
It was a snowy night on the ground, and a bit of light was coming through. I came to, and surprisingly, the steel seat, it and I had parted company. The chute was hanging off me, and I could feel it burning in the back from the explosion.
But the setting was awesome because I think they interviewed in the garden, and there was just a story. You could kind of picture a story about um, what happened during that the plane and his descent to Earth, and you could kind of visualize it. The cinematography, a lot of the strengths came from its the B-roll was awesome. The garden, of course, most of it's just garden scenes, garden shots, and but I did notice that they shot his hands a lot during his interview. I'm thinking it was because they wanted to show more emotions from him as far as how his hands were. He seemed to have put his hands together during the sadder parts of his story, and possibly they want to show how his life may be reflected through the look of his hands, of how hardworking maybe he has been, or a lot of stuff like that. So his hand gestures maybe was a thing that they wanted to try and film to show um, when I think it added a little bit more to the story just because it kind of made him seem more human instead of just like a straight headshot or what's it called, talking head to him. But editing, I don't know, everything seemed really awesome. The B rolls came in at nice times. They had nothing to do with the story, but they were just beautiful scenery that help add, probably maybe help water down the emotion that you could get from a story as tragic as he had. The sound, there are a lot of natural sounds, birds, water. They had some nice soft music in the back, and they combined it all during his interview. Had some music, had some natural sounds. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, it was great. Um, Overall, the sound was awesome, and yeah, just going back to the B-roll, there's a lot of cool shots that they had, and I thought they were super interesting. Other than that, it was more or less a straightforward interview, and if you guys get a chance to watch it, please do. And I guess to close up, reading the comments on YouTube, Professor Jenkins passed away recently. He was like 90 something, so he lived a really full life. And he got to spend his time in his garden like he always dreamed of as a child. So I thought that was awesome that they captured that moment for him. And he has according to his biography, it's like some of his stuff. It looks like he has a pretty large family, so it's a nice video that they can remember their father or grandfather with. Okay, thank you.